So good morning, everyone. As you all know that we have completed with our third chapter related to your surveying two. The next topic in your surveying two is related to your geodetic surveying. Okay, so geodetic surveying is a very important topic. Okay, in the surveying when we have studied that uh, there is two different. There is classification of surveying, that is one is your plane surveying, one is your geodetic surveying. In plane surveying we don't consider the earth curvature effect, but in geodetic surveying we need to consider the earth curvature effect. Okay, so geodetic surveying is basically done for what? In order to prepare what? For preparing the plans or the maps for countries. Okay, so where the bigger picture of surveying is to be done, where there geodetic surveying has been adopted. So we will study geodetic surveying from this presentation. Okay, this presentation is from Sri Lanka actually, but it is very useful for our syllabus also. That is why I've taken it out from internet. Okay, so by definition, geodetic surveying is what? Surveying is a technique to determine the relative position. As you all know, in surveying, what we do, we find out the position of any object on the surface of the earth or below the surface of the earth. Okay, widely spaced point length and the direction which is required for consideration of size and shape of the earth. Okay, so we need to consider what? The size and the shape of the earth, that is called as the curvature, earth curvature, into account. Okay, so far whatever the surveying we were doing your chain surveying, compass surveying, theodolite surveying, leveling. Okay, all the other types of plane table surveying. So we were not considering what? We were not considering the earth curvature effect, but in this case we need to consider the earth curvature effect. Okay, so geodetic surveying which extend more than 200 square kilometer. Okay, so any surveying in which you have to take measurements or you have to perform surveying which is having an area more than 200 square kilometer. Okay, in that case you will have to consider geodetic surveying. Okay, when surveying extends over a large area more than 200 square kilometer, the degree of accuracy is also great. Okay, so when you require higher degree of accuracy, and the curvature of the earth is also taken into consideration. Okay, after that, geodetic surveying is used to provide controls point to which small survey can be connected. Okay, so we can get higher control points and through which, okay, suppose this is your area. Okay, so we can get these control points. Okay, corner control points, and then with the help of these controllers point we can perform small survey in this area, we can perform small survey in this area, we can perform small survey in this area, we can perform a small survey in this area, which may be your plane survey. Okay, so this is about your definition of geodetic surveying. Next part, the horizontal positions and the vertical position, what are involved in horizontal position, what are involved in vertical position. So triangulation was involved in the horizontal position, tilitration was involved in your horizontal position, traversing was involved in your horizontal position, astronomical position was involved in your horizontal position. So what are the things which are coming in vertical position is your geodetic leveling, trigonometric and barometric leveling. So the things which is related to leveling part is under vertical position. Okay, and others are in your horizontal position. Okay, after that, horizontal control, we will try to see horizontal control one by one. So the first one is your triangulation. This is very important because in geodetic surveying the main thing which we are going to do is the triangulation process. Okay, it is either called geodetic surveying or it is called as triangulation process. Okay, so the process of measuring the system comprised of joined or connected triangles. So what we have to do, we need to whatever the area is being provided to us, we need to connect it by number of triangles. Okay, after that, whose vertices are the station marks on the surface of the earth. So the vertices of these triangles are the station mark. Okay, the vertices of the triangle will be the station mark on the surface of the earth, and in which angular observation are supported by occasional distance. So we need to take some angular observation, okay, at a suitable occasional distance, and astronomical observation is also known as triangulation. So basically this is the definition of triangulation. What we are doing, we are dividing the area into number of connected triangles, and the vertices of the triangles on the surface of the ground are called as the main station points. And we also make some occasional angular measurements as well as vertical, as well as the distance also we measure. That together process, this whole assembly is called together as your triangulation. Okay, use the establishment of horizontal control system over country. So basically triangulation process is used where triangulation process is used in order to control what horizontal control point system for a country. So if whenever we need to prepare, you must have seen a country map showing different features of the earth. Okay, a country map showing different routes of the roads, a country map showing different routes of railway lines, a country map which is showing different harvested areas of different part of the countries. So these all maps have been prepared with the help of this triangulation system only. Okay, so it is used for what? To establish horizontal control system for a country. Okay, now after that, the principles of triangulation. Okay, so the entire area of the survey work is to be converted into frames of triangles. So as I've told you, we need to the whole area has been connected with the number of triangles in the framework of a triangles. Okay, if the length and the bearing of one side and the three angles of the triangles are measured precisely, that the length and the direction of other two sides can be computed. So suppose this is a triangle. Okay, so if we have finded out this length, okay, very accurately, and we have found out this angle and this angle. Okay, so what you can do with the help of these two angles as well as this distance, we can evaluate this distance. Okay, we can evaluate this distance by applying sine rule. Okay, the condition for this is that the baseline should be measured very accurately. And okay, so this is how you can do your triangulation process. If the length and that is what it is saying, the length and the bearing of one side. So we have calculated the length and the bearings of one side of the three angles of the triangles have been measured precisely. The length and the direction of the other two sides can be computed. Okay, after that, this method of surveying was first introduced by Dutchman called Snell. So this is a very important because in your MCQs type of question they might ask who has invented triangulation system. So you need to remember that a Dutchman named Snell has invented your triangulation system, and also you should search on internet that in which year was triangulation system invented. Okay, so the name of the inventor as well as the year in which your triangulation system was invented, that can be asked in your MCQ type of question. So please note it down that who is the inventor of your triangulation system, the Dutchman called Snell, and what is the what is in which year it was invented. That you also need to note it down. Okay, please try to search on internet that in which year triangulation was introduced. After that, precisely measured the baseline. Okay, as I've told you, the line which has been measured, the distance of which in the line. So suppose this is a triangle and you have to measure one side of the triangle. So the measurement, this line is called as your baseline. Okay, the computed two lines are used as a baseline for two interconnected triangles. So once you have calculated this length and this length, they might be connected with some another triangle, this might be connected with some other triangle, so that it can be used as a baseline for finding out these sides. Okay, this can be used as a baseline for finding out this side and this side. Okay, next, verticals. The vertices of individual triangles are known as a triangulation stations. So the vertices are known as what? Triangulation stations. Okay, after that, extending this process, a network of triangle can be computed over the entire area. So you need to connect number of triangles and form a framework. Okay, and you can cover the entire area. As a check of length of one side of the last triangle is also measured and compared with the computed one. So what you need to do once you have finished the work, what you have to do, suppose your work is ending over here. Okay, you have calculated from here and you are ending over here. So what you have to do, you have computed this. Okay, with the help of calculation, you have computed this with the help of calculation, but you also have to measure this. Okay, so this will give you check. Suppose with the measurement it was coming out to be what, 80. Okay, by computation, by numerical method, but after that we have found that after measurement, actual measurement, it is coming out to be 79.9. okay, so it is approximately equal to 80, so that can be assumed that it is same. Okay, so that will provide you a check basically whether the calculation what you have done is correct or not. After that, the subsidiary base are measured at suitable interval to minimize the accumulation of error. So if the network of triangle is very large, what we need to do, we need to select some subsidiary baseline, so that in order to check whether the calculation which we are doing is correct or not. So for that we need to choose some subsidiary base, and then we need to measure it and check with the calculation that it is matching with the calculation or not. Okay, After that, astronomical observations are made to intermediate station to control the error in azimuth. So sometimes astronomical observations are also made to accumulate some to reduce the error basically. Okay, those triangulation stations are called as Laplace stations. So some though astronomical observations, the intermediate station which has been marked with the help of an astronomical observation are called as your Laplace station. So you should remember this. What it is called as Laplace station. Astronomical observation made on intermediate station are called as your Laplace station. Okay, hope this might be clear. After that, this is the purpose why we do the triangulation system. The purpose behind triangulation system is to establish the accurate control point for a plane and geodetic survey for a large area. So as I've told you, generally we need to locate some objects in your surveying. That is the main objective of surveying. So in order to locate any object, we require control points. So it can be used to accurately fix control point. For it can be of either for plane surveying, it can be for geodetic surveying. Next one, to establish accurate control point for photogrammetric surveying. It can also be used in photogrammetric surveying. Okay, that we will discuss in the next chapter. That is your next chapter, photographic survey. Now, accurate for location of engineering work. So if you need to conduct any engineering work, that can be that triangulation can help you in some place. Okay, then after that there is classification and accuracy. Okay, how triangulation system has been done. So classification, basically triangulation system is divided into three parts. That is primary triangulation, which is the first order triangulation system. Then there is secondary triangulation, which is also part of the secondary order triangulation system. Then there is tertiary or third order triangulation system. Okay, now we'll start with the first one, that is the primary triangulation system. This is the highest grade of triangulation system. Okay, this is the most precise one. To determine the shape and the size of the Earth's surface, or for providing precise planimetric control point for the subsidiary triangulation system, this can be used. So whenever we need to determine the shape and the size of the Earth for providing precise control point, we can use primary system. The stations are generally selected 16 to 150 kilometer apart. So as I've told you, it is normally done for your countries, preparing for maps for the countries. So obviously the station will be not very near, it will be in kilometers. So station can be selected for a range between 16 km to 150 km apart in case of primary triangulation. Okay, then the length of the baseline which you are measuring should be within 8 to 12 km. The length of the side can be from 16 km to 150 km. Okay, so error which can be occurred in triangulation, error should be less than 1 second. Okay, in case of primary triangulation, the error should not be more than 1 second. Okay, maximum station closure. So when we are joining the triangle, there might be chances that the starting point or the end point of the triangle may not coincide. So the closure should not be more than 3 seconds. Okay, so actual error of the baseline is 1:50,000. Okay, discrepancy between two measurements is 5 mm. So if you have taken a measurement, so there should be a discrepancy between 5 mm, not more than that. Okay, so these are the conditions for your primary triangulation. Okay, then next one is your secondary triangulation. Okay, secondary triangulation. To connect true primary triangulation. Okay, so after doing primary triangulation, suppose there are two other parts. Suppose in this area you have done your primary triangulation, in this area you have done your primary triangulation. So in order to connect these two, we need to perform what? Secondary triangulation. To connect true primary triangulation, to provide control point closure between those primary triangulation. Okay, so to connect these two primary triangulation for densification of horizontal control network, in order to make it more densified, for that purpose your secondary triangulation has been done. The length of the baseline in case of secondary triangulation is 5 to 5 km. The length of the side is 10 to 25 km. Average triangular error should be less than 3 seconds. Closure error should be less than 8 seconds. Base error can be 1:25,000, and discrepancy between two measurements should be 10 mm. Okay, so this might be important. The different length and the length of the side in different type of triangulation system, because this might ask in your MCQ type of question in your university exam. So please try to remember this. Okay, After that, tertiary triangulation system to provide control point between stations of primary and secondary order triangulation. So in order to connect your secondary, okay, and primary triangulation, we can adopt what, your tertiary triangulation system to provide control point between the stations of primary and second order triangulation system for densification of horizontal control point for topographical survey various scale. Okay, so the length of the baseline should be 100 to 500 meter. The length of the site should be 2 kilometer to 10 kilometer. Accuracy average error triangular should be 12 second. Closure error should be 12 second. Lot less than should be less than 12 second. Actual error should be 10,000, and discrepancy between two measurements should be 25 mm. Okay, so these are all the classification of your triangulation system. One is your primary triangulation, which is done for higher accuracy work, and then there is secondary, which is used to connect two primary triangulation system. Then there is tertiary, which is used to join your secondary and primary triangulation system to connect that. Okay, after that, layouts of triangulation system. This is also very important. The arrangement of various triangles of a triangulation series is known as the layout of a triangulation system. So you know how you place your triangular system is known as basically layout. Okay, so it can be a simple chain triangle, it can be a brace, quadrilateral in chain, it can be a centered triangles and polygon. Okay, so we'll try to understand each one by one. The first one is your simple triangle, so in chain, used when control points are provided in a narrow strip of a terrain such as valley between two ridges. So where you need to use where there is a valley, okay, between two ridges, that is between two hills, when there is a valley in between them, in that case you need to provide what, you need to provide your simple triangles of chain. Okay, then second point, it is a rapid and economical due to its simplicity, since as you can see in this diagram, these are simple connected triangles. Okay, they are rapid and economical due to its simplicity of sighting. Only 4 other stations and observation of long diagonals are avoided. So in this we don't need to take any long diagonals, we are only marking the sides of the triangles. Not provided any check of accuracy of observations are made, as there is one route through which distance can be computed. As you can see that there is only one route. From, suppose this is your baseline, so from here you can compute this line and you can compute this line. Okay, and then you have to compute this line with the help of this line. Okay, and in the same fashion you will have to move on. Suppose there might be another triangle connected over here and they are connected with them, then this will provide a check to the last one. But in this case you are starting with this and you are ending with this, so it cannot provide any check. Okay, it is not providing any check. Check baseline and astronomical observation for azimuth at frequent interval at every essential to avoid exclusive accumulation of error. So while performing simple triangulation system, you may need to check the baseline as well as astronomical observation should be made in order to avoid some accumulation of the errors. So this diagram represents your simple triangles in chain. Okay, so there might be a question in your university exam related to this also. They might be showing you a figure of this, okay, of triangulation system and saying that which type of system it belongs. So you need to remember that this is a simple chain and triangle system. Okay, after that, brace quadrilateral and chain consists of figure containing 4 corners. So as you can see, it consists of a quadrilateral which has 4 figure, 4 corner station and observed diagonals. So we need to observe diagonals also in this. Brace quadrilateral system is treated to provide the best arrangement of triangles, as it provides means of computing the length of the sides using different combination of the sides of the angle. So this is the most accurate method, or this is the most suitable method which has been generally adopted. Okay, why it has been adopted? Because you can see that if you are measuring, if you are taking this as a base, okay, you can by this you can measure this one. Okay, after measurement of this you can get this, as well as you can get this. Okay, after this you can get this. Okay, so CD can be done through this route and CD can also be done through this route. So what you are getting that, you are getting that suppose यहाँ आपकी जो वैल्यू है यहाँ से सपोज 80 आ रही है, यहाँ से भी सपोज आपकी वैल्यू 80 आ रही है, तो यहाँ से आपको क्या मिल रहा है, एक चेक मिल गया. From here you are getting a check whether from this route the observation are correct or from this route observation are correct. Okay, so from both the route, the observation, this value CD should be coming out to be same, so that is giving you a check. So it provides a check at a regular interval. That is why it is considered to be a best uh, method in your triangulation system. Okay, after that, centered triangles and polygons. Centered triangles and polygon, it consists of figure containing centered polygon and centered of triangle. So as you can see that it consists of a polygon, it consists of a triangles. Okay, then it is used for a vast area extending in all directions. So whenever there is an area which is extending in all directions, in that condition you have to observe, you have to use the centered triangle polygons method. The centered figures generally are quadrant, quadrilateral, pentagons or hexagon with central station. So it can be a pentagon, it can be an hexagon, it can be a hexagon or any other station. Okay, provides proper check on the accuracy of the work. It is also providing a check. Okay, you can follow this route, you can also follow this route. Okay, so it provides a check. Low progress of work due to more setting of instrument. As you can see that it consists of number of sites, so you will have to change instrument several number of time. Okay, so that will make reduce your efficiency of the work, that will make your work delay. Okay, so low progress of work. After that, what are the factors to be considered by selecting a figure? This is also very important. Which type of figure you should choose, that is also very important. Okay, simple triangle should be preferably equilateral. So one of the first condition is that we should choose a simple triangle which is generally preferably equilateral, and if you are choosing quadrilateral, it should be a brace quadrilateral, should be preferably square. Okay, it should possibly, if uh, it should be chosen in such a condition, it should be a square. Then centered polygon should be a regular polygon. No angles of the figure opposite a known side should be smaller. Okay, so whenever you are choosing an angle of the figure, opposite, which is opposite to a known side, should be smaller. So it should not be small, it should be a greater value so that it can be used for calculation purpose. Okay, then angles of simple triangles should not be less than 45 degree, should not be less than 45 degree in case of simple triangle. In case of quadrilateral, it should not be less than 30 degree. In case of your polygon, it should not be less than 40 degree. The sides of the figure should be of comparable length. Okay, after that, layout of a primary triangulation. For layout purpose, we have two methods, which is your gridiron system, then is your centered system. Gridiron system is what? This figure is nothing but your gridiron system, in which we moved along the north-south line. Okay, and these lines are marked perpendicular to this. Primary triangulation is laid in a series of chain triangle, usually roughly along the meridians of north-south. So you need to make the layout of triangle in the north-south direction. Okay, as well as east-west direction. You can see that it is forming a grid. So that is why it is called as your gridiron system. Okay. Distance between the two chains may vary from 150 km to 50 km. Okay, so the distance may be varying from 150 to 250 km in case of this. Areas between the parallel and perpendicular series of triangles are covered by secondary. So the area which is coming inside what? This parallel and this perpendicular distance is considered, is been connected by what? Primary triangulation system, secondary and tertiary triangulation system. This method is adopted in India. This is the method which has been adopted in India, Austria, Spain and France. Then there is the next method which is called as the central system method. The whole area of the surface connected by a network of primary triangulation extending outward in all directions from the initial baseline. So in this we need to consider a baseline in the center, then we need to move in north, south, east, west in all direction. Okay, the baselines are generally laid at the center of the country. So baseline is measured at the center of the country, used for surveying of an area of moderate extent. Okay, so for when there is area of moderate extent, in that case only we need to adopt central system, and it is adopted in the United Kingdom. This method is generally adopted in United Kingdom. Okay. Now the condition for a well-conditioned triangle, well-conditioned triangles of a triangulation system. Okay, so the arrangement of triangles in the layout and the magnitude of the angles in individual triangles affect the accuracy of triangulation systems. Okay, so in which way you are selecting the angle Okay, what is the magnitude of the angle? It somewhat affect the accuracy of triangulation system. Okay, that is what it is saying, that the arrangement of triangles, how you arrange your triangles, what is the magnitude of the angles of individual triangles affect the accuracy of the work. Secondly, the shape of the triangles in which any error in angular measurement has a minimum effect on the length. So the shape which you are going to select for any triangulation system, which is having less angular measurement, which is having less error in angular measurement, with a minimum effect on the length of the computed side, in such a way that whatever angle you have measured, it should have a very less effect on what the length of the computed side, is known as a well conditioned triangle. Okay, so that triangle which is having what minimum effect on the length of the computed side is called as a well computed triangle. Okay, it has been found that the best shape of triangle is your isosceles triangle. Okay, so by various studies through triangulation system, it has been founded out that the triangles which we are choosing should be bestly isosceles triangle, and the angle should be in somewhere what 56 degree 14 minute each. Okay, that will give you the best result. But all practical purpose, the equilateral triangle may be treated as well conditioned triangle. Okay, for practical purpose, equilateral triangle are considered to be a well conditioned triangle. Okay, the note, the triangles whose angles are less than 30 degree. So if any triangle which is having less than 38 degree or more than 120 degree should be avoided in chains of triangles. Okay, it should be avoided because it will somewhat affect the computed side. That is why it should be avoided. Mm, Okay, after that, scale error. The scale error depends upon the accuracy of the baseline measurement. So how you have measured the baseline, how accurately you have measured the baseline, that will give you the scale error. It totally depends upon that. Define as the difference between the measured and the computed check base. So what you have done between what you have measured and what is the computed check base, the difference between that it is called as the scale error. Control providing frequent baseline measurement. Okay, so it will somewhat provide control over the subsequent measurement. Okay, distance angle is what the angle that involves for the calculation of unknown side. So what the angles which are used to find out the unknown side is called as the distance angle. Two distance angles involved for calculation is known of an unknown side. So whenever you measure an unknown side, we have to involve two distance angle at least, namely angle opposite to the known side. They are basically the angle opposite to known side and the angle opposite to unknown side. Okay, so this is your known side. This will be your two distance angle. Okay, no effect of no effect by the remaining angle on the calculation of unknown side and referred to as non-effective angle. So the angle which is not been used, okay, is called as a non-effective angle. Station should be selected such that non-effective angles are quite smaller. So the station should be selected in such a way that the non-effective angle are quite smaller and the distance angles are larger for accurate computation of work. So the larger the distance angle will be there, so that will give you the more accuracy in computation of the sides. Okay, then there is strength of the figure. The strength of the figure we will see in the numerical part. Okay, after that, the thing which is important is your station markers. Okay, over here, station marker. The object of station marker is to provide a surface mark with a permanent mark buried below the surface on which a target or instrument is being centered over the station. So basically what you have to do, and geodetic surveying, what we have to do, we are marking a station which is 150 kilometer apart. Okay, 150 kilometer is a very large distance. So in order to see from 150 kilometer apart, from 150 kilometer, if you are marking an instrument over here and you are measuring an instrument, measuring a station point at 150 kilometer apart, so there might be chances in 150 kilometer distance there may be too many obstruction in between them. So what we have to do, we have to raise the station, okay, and we have to make it on the top so that it is visible from your station point. Okay, so that is called as the station marker. Okay, object of station marker is to provide a surface mark with a permanent mark buried below the surface on which the target or the instrument is being centered over it. Okay, should be bronze or copper marker cemented into rock or concrete surface. Okay, it should be cemented in what? Rocks. Okay, normal station markers are buried. Okay, basically this is what, whenever you place any instrument, so these stations are required, okay, for triangulation purpose. So in order to remember that, it should be in bronze and copper marker. Normal station markers are buried below. Actually, this is not about this, what I was telling you, that is about signals. Station markers are different thing. Wherever you keep your instrument, okay, below that you need to provide a station marker. Okay, it should be perfectly cemented. Okay, it should be of bronze or copper marker. It should be cemented into rocks and concrete surface. And normally station markers are buried below the ground surface to protect from the disturbance. So it should be buried inside the grounds in order that they do not get disturbed by the regular activity. Control points can be constructed in concrete with center marker in bronze and copper and buried at the required place. Few dead measurements are taken using permanent features around the station and keep as the diagram. Okay, so basically that is the purpose of your station marker. Whenever you place your instrument, the centered line below which it should be marked with the help of a bronze or a copper marker, which it should be cemented in rocks and cement concrete. Okay, it should be buried inside the ground so that it does not get disturbed by the day-to-day activities of the people. Okay, then there is satellite station. In order to secure a well-conditioned triangle, okay, so in order to secure a well-conditioned triangle or better intervisibility of objects such as church tops, so this is about your signals. So for well-conditioned triangle and for better visibility of objects such as church top, flag poles and tower, etc., are sometimes selected as triangular stations. So as I've told you, intervisibility is very important in your triangulation system. So sometimes higher points such as church top and flag poles and towers are selected as a triangulation system. If the instrument is impossible, and now when these points have been selected as a station point, it is impossible to fix your instrument on a pole. It is not possible to fix your instrument on the top of the church. Okay, so in that case, if the instrument is impossible to set over that station, a subsidiary station known as satellite station. So what you have to do, you have to take a subsidiary station or a false station which is selected near as possible to the main station. So we need to take a subsidiary or a false station which is very near to your actual station. Okay, that is known as your satellite station. That is called as your satellite station. Okay, observations are made to other stations with the same precision from the satellite station. Okay, so and then we will measure the different stations with the same accuracy that would we have done from the main station. Okay, so this is about a satellite station. Okay, let me tell you once again. In order to secure a well-conditioned triangle or for better intervisibility of between the two stations, sometimes the church tops or the flag tops or the pole tops are being selected as a station. Okay, but in some cases it is not possible to fix the instrument on the top of the pole of a flag. It is sometimes it is not possible to fix on the top of the church tower. Okay, so in that case a subsidiary or a false station is selected instead of the main station. That is called as your satellite station, and the same accuracy of work, same accuracy has been adopted at that station also by measuring the further measurements. Okay, after that, reduction to the center. When the angles are corrected and reduced to the what they should be from the true station. Okay, so as you know that in satellite station we are not taking the measurement from the actual station. So we need to reduce this angle from where it should be from the true station, so that angles are corrected and reduced to what they should be from the true station. So from true station, what should be the exact reading, that should be that corrections is known as your correction or reduction to the center. The operation applying to this correction due to the eccentricity of the station is generally known as reduction to the center. The distance between true station and the satellite station is determined by the method of trigonometric leveling. So the distance between the true station and satellite station is generally determined with the help of trigonometric leveling. Hope it is clear what is reduction to the center. Reduction basically क्या हो रहा है reduction to the center. मैंने अभी आपको explain किया कि आपके जो चर्च पोल है, कई बार क्या होता है आपके बहुत सारे टाइम क्या होता है कि इंटरविजिबिलिटी की वजह से या फिर वेल कंडीशन ट्रायंगल कंडीशन लाने के लिए अपन क्या करते हैं, वो जो हाईएस्ट पॉइंट्स होते हैं कई बार सिटीज के, जैसे कि चर्च का कोई टॉप हो गया या फिर पोल हो गया, ठीक है, ऐसी चीजें अपन क्या कर लेते हैं, सेलेक्ट कर लेते हैं एज अ मेन स्टेशन पॉइंट, बिकॉज उनकी इंटरविजिबिलिटी आपके स्टेशन से इजीली है, ठीक है। तो ऐसे जो स्टेशन है उनको अपन क्या बोलते हैं, मेन स्टेशन। अब ठीक है, अब लेकिन एक्चुअल प्रैक्टिस में वो आपके चर्च के टॉप पे जाके अपन इंस्ट्रूमेंट फिक्स नहीं कर सकते, या फिर कोई फ्लैग है, ठीक है, उसका पोल है, उस पर जाके अपन इंस्ट्रूमेंट फिक्स कर सकते हैं या नहीं कर सकते। तो उसी के आसपास में अपने को क्या करना पड़ेगा, एक स्टेशन चूज करना पड़ेगा जिसको अपन क्या बोलेंगे, सैटेलाइट स्टेशन या फिर फॉल स्टेशन, और वहां से अपन क्या करेंगे, पूरे ऑब्जर्वेशन करेंगे। अब आपने पूरे ऑब्जर्वेशन तो कर लिया, लेकिन कहाँ से किया, आपके फॉल स्टेशन से किया, लेकिन मेन स्टेशन से नहीं किया। तो उसको मेन स्टेशन में कन्वर्ट करने के लिए अपने को क्या करना पड़ेगा, जो एंगल्स अपन ने मेजर किए उसमें करेक्शन अप्लाई करना पड़ेंगे। तो वो जो करेक्शन अप्लाई करते हैं, वो जो प्रोसेस होता है, उसको अपन क्या बोलते हैं, रिडक्शन टू सेंटर। देखो, द एंगल्स आर करेक्टेड and reduced to what they should be from the true station. The operation applying to this correction due to eccentricity of the station is generally known as reduction to the center. The distance between the two stations and the satellite station is determined by the method of trigonometric leveling. Okay, hope it is clear to all of you. Then the last one is the signals. Okay, signals are what, as I've told you, when we are performing geodetic surveying, the distance between the two station points are in kilometers, so there might be possibility that there might be intervisibility problems in that, because in 150 kilometer square there might be too many buildings, there can be a hill. Okay, so in that purpose you need to what, erect sometime the point and marked as a station. The device is erected to define the exact position of the station. Okay, so sometimes signals are what erected to define the exact position of the station. A signal is placed at each station so that the line of sight are established between the transition station. So as I've told you, because the line of sight should be clear, it should be visible. For that purpose, signal has been provided. Signal may be of opaque or a luminous type. Okay, and now what is opaque and luminous we will see in the next part. Okay, classification of signal, it is of two types, that is luminous and opaque. Luminous signals are what, signal further divided into two category, sun signal and night signal. Okay, so it is divided into two types, which is your sun and the night signal. Sun signals are what, those signal which reflects the rays of the sun. So any signal which is reflecting the rays of the sun towards the station of observation are known as heliotropes. Okay, they are called as what, heliotropes. The such signals can be used in clear weather. This type of signals can be used in clear weather. Heliotropes do not give better result as compared to opaque signal. So this is not accurate as compared to your opaque signal. Next one, night signal. While making observation at the night signals are used. Various type of night signals are available. Various form of oil lamps. Oil lamps are sometimes used, which is used as a reflector. This are used for a site less than 80 kilometers. So when we need to use this oil lamp, when the distance is less than 80 kilometers. Okay, acetylene lamps designed by Captain GT Mako. These are used for site more than 80 kilometers. So there is a oil lamp which is used for less than 80 kilometers. There is a lamp which has been acetylene lamp, which has been designed by Captain GT Mako, which is used for a site more than 80 kilometers. Okay. Then there is opaque signal. Opaque signal or non-luminous signal are used during day. Okay, various forms, and the one most commonly used are the pole signal, target signal, pole and brush signal, stone, Karen signal, and beacon signal. Pole signal, it consists of a round pole painted. This is the diagram of this round pole painted in black and white in alternate, and it is supported vertically over the station marker on a tripod. So you can see this is a tripod stand over which your signal has been marked. The pole signal are suitable for a distance of 6 kilometers. So when we need to use, it is suitable for a distance up to 6 kilometers. Then there is target signal. It consists of a pole carrying two square or rectangular target placed at right angle to each other. So you can see that these are the two targets and they're placed right angle to each other. The targets are generally made of cloth stretch on wooden frame, so it has been covered with a cloth. On it, the target signal are suitable for a distance up to 6 km. This is also suitable for a distance up to 6 km. Then there is pole and brush signal. It consists of a straight pole about 2.5 meter long with a bunch of long grass. So you can see it consists of a bunch of long grasses tied symmetrically around the top marking across. It is just similar to uh, your symbol which is being used by our Christian community. Okay, that is the cross sign. The signal is erected vertically over the station marked by heaping of a pile stone. So it is being provided with inside a heap of stones up to 1.7 meter round of pile. Okay, so the height might be of 1.7 meter. A rough coat of white wash is applied to make it more conspicuous to be seen against the black background. Okay, so it has been painted in whitewash so that it should be visible. Okay, so this is about your pole and brush signal. Then there is stone chain. It consists of what it is also. It consists of a stone built up to a height of 3 meter of conical shape. This whitewash opaque signal is very useful in background in dark. Okay, this is the stone chain. Then beacon. It consists of a red and white cloth tied around 3 straight poles. So there's 3 straight poles and it has been covered with a red and white cloth. Okay, this can be easily centered over the station marker. Okay, so whenever there is a station marker, it can be easily centered over it. Beacons are useful when simultaneous observations are made on both the stations. Okay, this is all about the signals. Okay, the last one is your properties of an ideal signal. Okay, properties of an ideal signal is what? It should be clearly visible from a distance against any background. It should provide easy and accurate bisection by the telescope. It should be easily bisected by the capsule. It should be capable of being accurately centered over the station marker. Okay, so these are the 3 conditions for an ideal signal. Okay, after that, the next part is related to the phase of the signal. This picture involves when we are using a circular shape of signal, the illumination part depends upon the direction of the sunlight due to lateral illumination. So whenever which side the sun is coming, which part of your signal the sun is coming, that will be bisected by the observer. Observer has a tendency to bisect the center of illuminated part only. This causes an angular error known as a phase error. Observed angle must be reduced. So whatever the observed angle, it should be reduced to the centered mark. This is the most effect. This effect is commonly used in case of symmetrical signal. Let O be the center of the signal at distance D be at distance D from the observer, and O dash be the false center. So over here you can see that there is a point O and this is O dash. This part has been. This is the actual center and this is the center which has been marked because of the illumination. Okay, let R be the radius of the signal, so that we are considering that the radius of the signal is R and A is the observer position. So from here the observer is making observation. So phase error has been given by this formula: E equals to what? R cos square theta alpha by 2 equals to D sine 1. Okay, or you can use this formula also, this phase correction formula. The alpha is the angle which the direction of sun makes with the OA. Okay, so the angle which has been made by the sun with the direction of the OA is called as alpha, is known as alpha. Okay, after that the last part is related to a tower. A tower is erected at the triangular station when the stations or the signals or both are to be elevated to make an intervisibility in the station. So in order to make station intervisibility, we need to prepare a tower. The height of the tower depends upon the character of the terrain and the length of the site. So it will depend how the terrain is there and what is the length of the site. Towers generally have 2 independent structures. Basically they have 2 independent structure: outer structure supporting the observer and the signal, whereas the inner one is supporting the instrument only. So okay, the outer one will support the observer as well as the signal, and the inner one will support the instrument only. The 2 structures are made entirely independent of each other so that the movement of the observer do not disturb any of the instrument setting. The two tower may be made of masonry, timber or steel. It can be of timber, steel. Timber scaffolds are mostly commonly used and have been constructed to a height of about 50 meter. Okay, this is the photo of your diagram of your tower. Okay, you can see that there is an inner tower, there is an outer tower. Inner tower is to support the instrument, outer tower is to support the observer as well as the signal. Okay, so this is all related to your theoretical part related to your triangulation system. Then in the next class we will try to do the numericals, okay, in your triangulation system. Then we will complete our unit 4. Okay, thank you so much.